Welcome back to the Takeout. Longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The House of Representatives, well, it's not going to convene next week. That will be its 8th week out of session. Maryland Democratic Congressman Glenn Ivey joins me now. Congressman, it's good to see you. No House of Representatives in next week. That will be the 8th week, as I just said. First of all, your reaction to that?
It's pretty pathetic. And if you go back to July 25th, the House Republicans haven't had us in session except for 12 days since July 25th. So they've been absent without leave instead of being here on Capitol Hill doing their job. I don't agree with the Senate Republicans, but at least they've been here trying to work something out with the Senate Democrats in a good faith effort. But, Johnson passed their bill on a party line vote. He knew it was going to be dead on arrival in the Senate, but they've been in hiding ever since. So hopefully they'll come back so we can get to work.
Speaking of the Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, as you well know, offered a plan today, a one-year continuing resolution at current funding levels and a one-year extension of Obamacare subsidies put in place during COVID. Do you support that?
Well, I was open to it. I thought it was a good faith effort that he proposed there, but I was quite surprised by the sort of strength of the Senate Republican response. Your reporters just covered it a few minutes ago and talked about, it's the stupidest thing I ever heard and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm surprised that they would make those kinds of statements. But, at the end of the day, look, I think it's important for us to make sure that we continue to press to reopen the government. Senate and House Democrats also think it's important, though, to make sure that we help people get some kind of health care coverage. The refusal to extend the Affordable Care Tax credits means that millions of Americans could lose their health care coverage because their premiums are going to double or triple or maybe even quadruple. So we think that's the wrong result. We think it really compounds the problem with the $1 trillion cut to Medicaid that the Republicans put through as well. We think it's important for, Americans to have both health care coverage and get the government reopened.
Congressman, let me challenge you for a moment on that, because the Republicans make what appears to many people who email and text me about this in our audience a valid argument. In the past, when it's been a continuing resolution that has no strings attached to it, just at current funding levels, both sides have generally historically agreed to that. And they say, if you agree to that, we will negotiate in good faith on this question of health care. Why can't you do it in that sequence? Reopen the government and then negotiate.
Well, just a couple quick steps back. We had a CR that came out in December that not only did Biden agree to, but Trump agreed to it, and you had a bipartisan vote that got it done. They didn't go back to that one. They went to the one in March where I think only 3 House Democrats, the other 212 or so, voted against the CR that they now want us to eat again. I'm not sure why they think we should swallow that. The other problem, too, though, is the health care piece. During the last 6 months, since we had the vote in March on the CR, they passed the quote-unquote big ugly bill that cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid. And then on top of that, they refused to extend the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act. And we just talked about the problem that creates. So if they're not willing to negotiate with it then, because we were offering amendments to try and address it previously, why should we assume that they're actually going to, negotiate in good faith now? And I just one last point on that. If they really were willing to negotiate on it, why don't they do it now? I mean, the argument they made was we don't have enough time to do it. That was 7 weeks ago. We could have figured something out in the past 7 weeks. If they'd actually been here, House Republicans have not, trying to work something out in good faith, and a little support from the Trump administration would be helpful on that front too. But they've been absent without leave. They threw the bill on the table and said, my way or the highway. Then they went into hiding ever since. So I don't know why people think that demonstrates good faith efforts to negotiate. I think it clearly demonstrates the opposite.
Very quickly, Congressman, I want you to wade into redistricting fever, which has now reached Maryland. Your Governor Wes Moore announced today the creation of a commission to redistrict the lines in Maryland, even though the state Democratic Senate President, Bill Ferguson, has said that ought not to happen. Who's right?
Well, I support the redistricting. I think we found ourselves in this position, unfortunately, because President Trump decided he wanted to do this mid-decade redistricting effort. I think because he realizes he's about to lose the House majority on a straight-up vote, so he wants to try and put his thumb on the scale. So he called Governor Abbott in Texas, said, "Give me 5 more House seats." That's how we got on this path. So I think it's important for Democrats to fight fire with fire. Don't forget that in 2024, they took away 3 Democratic seats in North Carolina. That's the reason Democrats aren't in the majority in the House. I don't see any reason why we think that should happen again. I think it's important for us to make sure we fight back and make sure that we have an even level playing field in the competition to gain the majority of the House of Representatives.
Maryland Democratic Congressman Glenn Ivey, I appreciate the time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.